Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Nine Hole Podcast. This is your host, Ian Miller. Today, I am joined by Major League Baseball player, man, returning for his third season within the Giants system, man, Donnie Walton. Donnie, what's going on, brother? How are you doing today?
Doing great, brother. Doing great. Thanks for having me on. Excited to just talk ball with you and catch up, man.
I love it, dude. I love it. So obviously we were teammates back in the Mariners days, man. So coming up through the Mariners system, when Andy McKay and who was it, Dipoto kind of took over, there was an influx of mental skills and stuff coming in, and they were teaching two-strike approach. Man, that's some of the stuff I wanted to touch on today, dude. So obviously you've played parts of 4 seasons in the big leagues, dude. With the Giants, with the Mariners, you've had experience, kind of rising through the ranks, playing at all the levels, having success at all the levels. Dude, you've had, incredible success getting on base, incredible success with the glove. You've been touted for all that stuff, man. That's why you were drafted right out of Oklahoma State, 5th round, dude. So those are your successes, man. Here at the Nine Hole Podcast, like I'm speaking to the next generation of baseball players, like fucking grinders in the 9 hole, right? Like I was, man. Like you're a grinder, right? I wanted to just kind of like highlight your strengths, the successes you've had on that front, dude. Pick your brain on the mindset, all that stuff, dude. Ask you a bunch of questions, kind of try to, align your journey, see how, these kids or the players behind us, the players behind you can kind of, learn from your story, dude, if that's cool with you, man.
No doubt. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it, dude. So you were returning for your third season, right? Right now in the Giants system, you're about to roll into spring training. Man, where are you at right now? How's the body feeling, dude? You just rehabbed this past year, right? Shoulder, dude. Where is everything right now, man? How are you feeling rolling into spring training?
Man, I'm feeling great. It's the first time in a while I'm entering spring training healthy. So it's been a while. So I went in 22, had labrum surgery, and when I found I was getting labrum surgery, I had a thing on my foot, the sesamoid bone, which I thought it was turf toe, but once I found I was getting this, I was like, hey, can you guys check this thing out? Because I'm going to be out for a little bit. So they went in and checked it out. Ended up being a broken bone in my foot. So I got both those things fixed last year.
You were playing with a broken bone?
Broken bone, yeah. A little. The funny thing is when I got traded to the Giants, I was like, you know how it is, like new opportunity. This team wants me. I'm like, yo, I'm playing. I don't care.
That's right, dude.
My shoulder is banged up, my foot's banged up, but you know what? I'm gonna find a way to freaking, show these guys that I can play. And they traded me for a reason. I wanted to perform and take advantage of that opportunity. Unfortunately, my body just broke down a little bit too early, and so I got labrum surgery, got 3 anchors in there, got the sesamoid bone taken out. It looked like I got hit by a car in that off season. But you know what? I had a great training staff and Scottsdale with the Giants, and it was a long process, man. It's some long days and some grueling times, but going along with the mental stuff, you talk to those guys with the mental skills. They had the same thing in San Francisco, and just trying to keep a good attitude going each day. It's easy to be salty. It's easy to be, upset and, depressed. I'm not playing, I'm 28 years old. This is my time, all that stuff. But, trying to take it one day at a time and control what you can control. And so went through that whole process. Was blessed. The surgery and everything was successful.
Love it.
I feel great now. Like I said, excited to go into spring training, but I was working here in Dallas. My buddy Bryce Johnson worked with the hitting guy, Mike Brumley. He's, a genius.
I've heard him. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah,
just
dude.
so cool to just, gain knowledge from him. And then the guy I'm training with, Preston, been awesome. Taking a different approach this off season and working on speed, getting my speed back, and keeping the shoulder healthy, man.
For sure, dude. So obviously, man, you get the labrum taken care of, you get bones taken out, whatever it is, man. You're grinding back, you're rolling into the off seasons. But what I'm hearing, man, you're excited for a big year. Where are you at now? Like, what are you working with Brumley on the swing? So, what are like the off season adjustments and the fine tunings as you're rolling into spring training? Hopefully earning a spot.
Yeah, this year was different, of course, coming off injury and feeling like I lost a little bit of step with my speed and maybe just quickness in general. So the guy I'm working with, it was like, all right, we're going to train like a slot receiver. Like running and sprints was one of our lifts. Like
Love
you
it.
know, with the sled, like running with the sled, doing a bunch of sprints, and then going right into the weight room. But also with the shoulder, I started playing catch early. I took
Really?
probably about a week, 2 weeks off, and just keeping the shoulder moving, like 60 feet, 3 times a week. Just play light catch. You don't have to. You can throw it 50%. Just have it moving, and slowly worked into progression. I've been blessed to have my old man who's a pitching coach at Oklahoma State. He wrote me a program, and my shoulder's feeling great. So those were the two changes I made, and then of course I got in touch with Mike Brumley, one of my good friends that I grew up watching, Matt Reynolds, who's been in the big leagues. He's about to go to Japan now. He
Ooh,
told me great things about Mike Brumley, and he's worked with Wallenbrock, the guys over at with the Dodgers, the Guru, and has had a lot of good things to say. And the one thing that I've gained from this offseason hitting wise is the connection of the body and T spine. That's been his big thing. And it's like blew my mind because, I mean, what we were taught hands, taking the hands of the ball, back hip, all that stuff, it's out the window. It's just talking about being connected with your hands, elbows, and your T spine all working together. And man, it's making a lot of things simple.
I love it, dude. I love it. That's big time. Kind of being able to implement stuff like that.
Hmm.
I've heard a lot about that. I know all those names, right? Wallen Brock, dude. Those guys, no success on the hitting front, dude. That's awesome. You're getting to do that. Rolling
Hmm.
into spring training, feeling good, man. Feeling dangerous, bro. That's awesome. That's awesome. What's a day like in the off season, dude? So you just touched on it, right? You're hitting, you're working out. Some of your days are sprints, all that stuff, man. But like, man, when you're not grinding on the field or in the weight room, man, when you're not doing your sprints, not keeping the arm loose, all that stuff, not hitting. Dude, what's a day like, man? Like you knock that stuff out early and then you're chilling the rest of the day?
Yeah. So, you gotta find yourself to keep you busy because you got a lot of
For
time,
dude,
of
yes.
course, on your hands during the day. I've always enjoyed working out, doing lifts, so I did that early, and of course, I touched on just playing light catch. That's what I did for the first month and a half, and didn't touch a bat. And but after that, man, for me, family's huge. I moved to Dallas. My brother lives in Fort Worth. I've got to see him so much this off season where I haven't had a chance to, and um, see my sister, go visit her. She's in Cincinnati. Just taking trips, man. Going to
Awesome.
hang out with friends, and golf is huge for me. And my dad's addicted to golf. I feel like it just keeps that competitive fire in you. And you need something that you can compete at. I
For
feel
sure.
like it's just
For
in
sure.
our blood. So I'll go to the golf course, like I said, and go visit friends on the weekends and stuff like that. But also just to decompress, man. Like you're playing 140, 160 games. For me, it's like always I'm a go 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 guy, but I've learned to just give my body a rest. Just like, all right, I'm gonna go lift, play a little light catch, but man, go to a football game, go to a basketball game, hockey. There's just tons of stuff to do here, and
Dude, I've heard, not to cut you off, but I've also felt it. Like I've been told like that downtime and how you spend that being able to decompress, being able to catch your breath is just as important, right? Especially for your mental health, for your body, physical, all that stuff, like as the shit on the field or, in the weight room, right?
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I take time. I make sure, like, you know, I'm gonna do my lift, but I'm gonna relax, man, and I'm gonna not think about baseball for a while. I'm
Definitely,
not
dude.
gonna get my mind. I'm gonna get my mind away from the game. Go fish. Go golf. Like like enjoy life. Like
For sure.
and just go and get your mind out of the game because you know how it is, how mentally tough of a grind it is for 5 months, 6 months to you know, it's grueling, man. It's grueling.
Incredible.
So
Yeah.
you gotta relax your mind and be at ease.
Definitely, dude. Definitely, definitely. I wanted to touch on a little bit about your journey, man, how you got to where you're at, and incorporate right the stuff we were talking about at the start of the stream. Your strengths, man, the ability to get on base, right, the ability to play multiple positions at a high level with the glove, right, middle infield, man. But first, dude, what was like? Everybody wants to be a major league baseball player. If you're a baseball player when you're a kid,
Mhm.
right, every high school kid wants to be a Division I baseball player. Every college player wants to get drafted. Every minor league player, every professional player, whatever, wants to be in the big leagues, dude.
Yeah.
What was what was the experience like for you when you got called up, dude? So like they make movies about stuff like this. My experience was a little different. Like it was kind of like transactional. I had gotten traded over to the Twins. I
Mhm.
didn't really know the AAA manager very well, so it was just like, "Hey, dude, you're going to the show. Like, shake your hand." I'm like,
Yeah.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what was the experience like for you, man? If you could, was it cool?
Oh, probably one of the coolest moments of my life, man. We had uh, a coaching staff in Double A that was special. Mitch Canham. He was my coach or he was my manager coach, but he was
Yeah,
my manager in pro ball for a couple of years, and
Oregon
man,
State now.
yeah, and I owe that guy a big one because he believed in me, and Caesar came in after he took the job at Oregon State. He came in, he was our manager then, but um, man, I was with those guys. Woody, pitching coach, he's now in the big leagues. They did something special, man, that I owe them because we were in Tulsa and playing the Drillers,
Awesome
and
spot,
awesome spot, and that's my hometown. I grew up there. Grew
dude.
up there.
Yeah, it's
I grew
insane.
up. That stadium has been good to me, man. We won
One
a
Oak.
one Oak. We won a state championship there. We won the Big 12 championship there in college,
Oh,
and so we're in the playoffs. Um, Playing the Drillers. We just lost, and I'm thinking, season's over. I'm about to decompress. Talk exactly what we just talked about. Just get the mind away from the game. But that group, for me, I got drafted in 16, and then in 19, I've been with that group of players for 3 years. Like, and we got close. You know how it is. You get close to those teammates, and so at the end of the game, we're all circled up in the locker room. A couple guys saying, "Hey, love you guys. Wish you guys the best. It's been fun." And weirdly enough, like I was the last guy to say something. I was just like, "Guys, hey, I don't know where we're gonna be. I don't know if a couple of us are gonna be back, but I just want to say thank you all. I mean, I've learned so much from my teammates. Like that's one thing I tell everybody. I learned so much from my teammates than anything. Just talking with them, talking ball. So it's exactly what we're doing.
love
So I
it.
said, thank you, love you guys. And that was it. And then Caesar was like, hey, that's awesome. He goes, but, could you see yourself playing like with a different team in 2 weeks or whatever? And I was like, no, dude, like, no, this is like, I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, no, like Little Rock, this squad right here, this is my squad. He goes, well, what about Seattle? And I was like, I dropped, like literally dropped to the floor and everybody just dogpiled
They
on.
knew.
They knew the dog pile
No.
just in the locker room. Like I get chills every time thinking about it and get emotional. But one of the coolest moments of my life, and they did it for Kyle Lewis, Justin Dunn, and then the last guy, dude, was Art Warren,
Oh,
and they like
art.
everybody like kind of was done. And Woody comes out. He's like, "Oh, we forgot one player," and he's like, "Art Warren." And then everybody just went nuts again. And so
Amazing.
I called my parents. I was like, "Hey, I got something to tell you," and they were luckily at the game. They were
Oh,
just across the street. I thought they left, went back home. Stillwater's like an hour away. They're like, "No, we grabbed a pizza." And I was like, so I went out the stadium like half dressed, met them on the street, and I was like, "We're going to the show."
oh my gosh,
It
dude.
was
That's amazing.
it was one of the coolest days of my life. It was special.
That's amazing, dude. That's an amazing story there. So you obviously man, you had an unreal season that year. I think you hit like 300 on the dot. Little Rock's an awesome spot to play baseball,
Mhm.
dude. That league, the Texas League, is amazing, man. I loved playing there, dude.
Yeah.
Man, was there any inclination? Like, did you know at any point during that year you're like, man, I got a shot at being in the show this year, or were you just like, what? At what point does that hit your mind? You're like, dude, I am thriving here at Double A, where it's either you're up or you're out, dude. Like Double
Yeah.
A is where you have to prove it, and it's
Mhm.
either you succeed in Double A and you're up, or you're out. Like you don't move past Double A if you're it's up or out, dude. Like,
No
did
doubt.
you,
No doubt. And that I'll tell you what, that year was tough right at the beginning. I started the year at 0 for 18.
stinks?
Oh, thanks. 0 for 18. And then we went to play the Royals there at Fayetteville. What's the city? I forget what city it is, but
Yeah.
or
Oof.
like the Naturals or whatever.
Yeah, the
But
Northwest Arkansas Naturals.
Northwest, yes. And 0 for 18, and then I get a 2-hit game and then like a 3-hit game, and I just took off. And then we went to Tulsa. We had a doubleheader. I had one of the craziest days of my life. Got like 7 hits, and I was just like, "We're taking off." And was on a pretty good streak the whole time. And um, man, that season was special, especially with that team. And then at the end of the end of the season, I was like, Seattle. It's I don't know what their plans are up there, like in the big leagues, but I really wasn't thinking too much about it. My dad,
That's
I think,
big.
had the idea. He's like, "Hey, you keep doing what you're doing. Like, you never know." And I'm like, "Pops, I ain't worried about it. Like, I'm just gonna just focus on what I'm doing. Like, I have no control of it." And that's kind of how I've been. Like, I've never been a guy on Twitter looking at who's going up and down, looking at the roster. Like, I could care less. I got to
Playing
focus.
GM.
Like, yeah, guys that talk about it in the locker room, no, I'm out. Like, not even get my headspace into it. Like, I just never ever looked at it, never bothered with it, because it's just nonsense that's gonna enter your head. So never really played into it. And then towards the end of this season, I kind of was like, you kind of feel yourself a little bit. You're just like,
Have to.
I'm rolling. And I remember telling a couple of the mental skills guys, I was like, "Hey, it might sound cocky or whatever, but I was like, hey, tell them I'm ready. I'm ready to go."
Let's
Like,
go.
like after or during the game, like I get a couple of hits, I'm like, "Hey, tell them I'm ready to go." Like, I would just wanted to put that in their mind, and showing them confidently, like, I can do this. Like,
Amen.
and I don't really think I believed in myself until that season, like about making it. If that makes sense. Like, I
Yeah.
always felt like I was a good player, but that Texas league, like, there was a bunch of dudes in the league that we faced, and I was having some success and was rolling with it. But I think that was the first time I believed in myself that, you know what, I am a big leaguer. Like, I can do this. So
Love it.
uh, yeah, that was kind of how it kind of rolled out.
Dude, I absolutely love that, dude. It's amazing. I've had years like touching on you didn't let any of that stuff bother you. You didn't buy into it. Like that's awesome stuff. For me, when I was having success, I've had years ruined, dude, where it was like I'm hitting, 280, 290 at the break, at the halfway point, right? And I'm like, man, I should be getting called up at some point, whether it's from double A to triple A or triple A to the show. Dude, I've at the halfway point, I've been in triple A hitting 290. and I've ended the season at 260, just trying to hang on like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like keep
No
the
doubt.
stats, dude. Dude, that
No
is
doubt.
cancerous. That is
Yeah.
cancerous, bro. And it'll ruin entire seasons. That's badass that you were able to do that. Kind of ties into like the mental aspect of things, man. So you had an unbelievable experience, dude. Had some success there with Seattle. Moved on over. Been finding success, right? You're getting back from this injury, working back from the injury. Going to continue have success there with San Francisco, dude. So I wanted to touch on the story a little bit more, man. So right, this is the 9-hole podcast. So we are, the underdogs, man. We're not the first rounders. We're not the 6'5" throwing 100-mile-an-hour type dudes. That's the type of stuff that I wanted to highlight here, dude. So, like, you are a middle infielder known for getting on base, known for your glove, right? 5'9", 190 pounds, dude. I've always loved this analogy of or story. Dude, I don't even know what the word would be here. I'm going off script. Where it's like, dude, you could see a Major League Baseball player walking down the street in plain clothes, and you wouldn't be able to tell that that's a Major League Baseball player. I always thought that was sick, right?
Awesome.
And dude, I'm just a little skinny guy walking down the street. You wouldn't know, right? I'm just a defensive replacement or whatever it is, right? I always thought that was cool, right? So you've had to use your skills to your advantage to have success in the minor leagues, to find the big leagues, to find success in the big leagues, to play, man, parts of 4 seasons, man. Minor leagues, 282 career hitter right in the minor leagues with a 371 on base percentage, dude. 791 OPS, 247 walks to 313 Ks. That is fucking absurd. And that is like at the higher levels of the minor leagues, right? We're not talking, you're doing that in rookie ball year after year, dude. So, like, what is the thought process behind your ability to get on base? I alluded to the fact that, like, your 2-strike approach is something that I tried to emulate and, like, incorporate into the way that I played baseball. In the year that I made it to the big leagues, like, I actually did try to incorporate your 2-strike approach, man. What is the thought process there, like, at the plate to getting on base?
Yeah. It evolved throughout the years, of course, but the this thought process that I got was from Tyler Krieger in high school at the area code games, and he told me this thing about, and we'll get onto this like real quick, but it was the volleyball thought. It was and the strike zone. It's a box, and he was like, just put something that you can imagine, volleyball, basketball, softball, even in the middle of the plate, middle. That's where we want to pitch. That's where we can do damage. So I was like, man, that does make sense. And he's like, because if you put that volleyball, you put the circle, and you're imagining of just hitting the pitch in that circle, you're going to take those corners, pitches that are harder to hit. I was like, wow, all right. And so, I did that through college. And in college, I used it, and I've always been on the fastball pretty much my whole life. But in college, they're not throwing 97 all the time, 98. So in college, I was able to maybe sit on some off speed and react to the heater when they're throwing 90, 92. But I learned real quick once I got to pro ball, man, you got to stay on the heater. Like, you got to stay on the heater because they're blowing gas. So I've always stayed on the heater, fastball timing, thinking the other way. I'm a throw right, hit left. So this shoulder, it wants to come out. So I got to think the other way so I can keep that shoulder in as long as possible and stay through the zone.
Are you thinking gap, or
going
are you
back to the
thinking
volleyball,
other way? Sorry.
Depending on kind of how I'm seeing the ball that day, whether I'm seeing it really good, maybe I'm being too picky, I'll change the size of the circle. Like, so if it's a volleyball, I'm seeing the ball well, I'm going to just keep my normal circle, normal volleyball. I'm going to put it right there on home plate, imagine it. And then, when you're in the box, you have that kind of feel of that area where you want to hit the ball. So I'm setting that thing right there, right in front of home plate. And then I'll look out towards the pitcher, and I'm always looking at his glove. So when, the ball always comes out of his glove, every pitcher separates. That's my timing. Once he separates, I go, and then, I'm on fastball timing and adjust. So, and then the two strike, I'm pretty much the same way. But, with two strikes, especially in today's game, is how much off speed we're getting, especially runner on second base. They're going to throw the changeup, they're going to throw the slider, they're going to throw their best pitch to get you out with. They want to strike out. So, I'll either shrink or maybe expand that circle, volleyball, but I'm putting in a home plate, and I'm just trying to move my sights. Instead of shortstop, second base, I'm moving it in the 6-hole. I'm going to see that ball a little bit longer. I'm not afraid to get jammed. My hands have been my key. This is like that. My hands have been the best attribute for me. Like defense, just being able to pepper the baseball. So I'm not afraid. I feel like my hands are quick enough for 100. So I feel like I can get to it. So fastball timing, just move my sights over to 6-hole, react to everything else. Oof. And like I said, there's days, depending on the field, depending on the time of night, you're not going to always see the ball very well. And maybe you see it really good, and then you got to shrink because you want to swing at everything. So I'll think about a softball, or I think about a volleyball. Those are kind of the two thought process I go with.
I absolutely love it, man. So like for me, I think hearing that when I believe it was probably, man, I don't even know if it was 2017 or 2019. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm forgetting about it, dude. But that's where we first started talking about the concept. And I'm like, the higher up you go in the minor league system, you're going to face fucking nasty dudes. Mm-hmm. Right. So when you're in AA and AAA, you might be facing dudes that are throwing 100 and they might kind of be consistent. I'm thinking about it like this, man. You talked about setting your sights certain ways. You wanted to sit on the fastball. It's like, dude, if you're facing a dude that's throwing 100 with a banger slider, plus slider, 91 mile an hour wipeout slider, and he's got a cambio, and he can throw it for a strike. What is your best chance of getting a hit or working a quality at bat, a positive at bat? Like you probably sitting on the fastball, sitting on 100, right? Like that's your best chance. No doubt. Dude, I remember knuckleballers, bro. We would face like knuckleballers every once in a while.
19 in the knuckleballer and the drillers.
Dude, okay, so I faced him. He got promoted. So OKC.
Okay,
dude,
yeah.
I faced him. I got a hit off of his fastball. I was sitting fastball off of the dude. I got called up, or I got traded after that game. That's the only reason why I remember that.
Yeah.
At OKC, dude. But like a knuckleball pitcher, his shit is fluttering as it's coming at you at varying speeds, right? He's got one that he could take some off and throw at 60, or one that he bumps up, throw mid 70s that isn't as crazy. It's like what's the best chance of you getting a hit sitting on a fastball, bro? So I absolutely love that, dude. You talked about your hands being your assets, your hands being able to kind of guide you with the bat, with the glove, dude. I wanted to talk about the hands, incorporating that into your dominance on defense, right? So you're able to play multiple positions up the middle, which adds to your value, dude, which, will keep you in the game, right? Yeah. Dude, when did that, start becoming a thing? Were you always a shortstop, second baseman, like coming up through the ranks? And like, how do you practice that in the off season? Do you focus on one more so than the other?
Yeah, no. So just like how I just talked about our approach, for hitting, I have an approach once I'm out in the field. And, luckily for as my dad, who's a pitcher, like he always made sure you always bring the glove no matter what. Like you don't want to cheat that pitcher. Like that always stuck with me. He's like, never cheat your pitcher. Play every pitch. Like, and that's been, huge for me. And I know being at the young age and listening to guys and getting feedback from all my dad's friends and guys who played, like if you play defense, you're going to go a long way. Like you're going to go a long way. You're always going to try to figure it out with the bat. You're going to be hot and cold with the bat, but you always bring the glove. And that's been important to me. And when I was growing up, Billy Rona, he was a guy who played at Miami. He was part of that hidden ball trick in the World Series. I don't know if you ever saw.
Oh yeah, I think I do kind of remember that.
And when they tagged the guy out with Wichita State. They made
I do remember
a
that.
fake dive, and he was the guy that tagged the guy out.
I do remember that.
That guy can still pick it at 60 years old. Like he's unbelievable. So I learned a lot from him, and we did certain drills in high school. We made sure we took ground balls like twice a week, but it'd be for like 2 hours. And talk about the quickness of the hands. I didn't always have the arm strength, but he was big for me about getting it out, make sure we get the ball out of the glove and get it in the air. But Bone's been huge. Perry Hill, he's a legend, and learned a lot from him. But yeah, it's like you grab a few things here and there. And as a kid, I was always shortstop, second base, played a little bit of third, and with infield, like it's your feet. You catch the ball with your feet. Like that's the number one. And then like the simplest thing that I got with defense, Jay Bell told me. He was the shortstop of the D-backs when they won it. He was the guy that scored the winning run when Luis Gonzalez hit the sawed-off single. But he told me the simplest thing, man, and it helped me catch the ball clean like every time. He's like, this index finger, when you put your hand in the glove, this index finger right here in this spot, that's where the pocket is. He goes, so whenever you take a ground ball or you play catch, that's your target. You just where the ball is, just point that to the target. He's like, you're going to catch it clean every time. I was like, dude, that's so simple. Like, I've never even thought of that. Like, so I can catch it clean, get it out quick. Like, that's always stuck with me, and the feet. And then once I'm on the field defensively, like the approach, it's like, all right, is this guy fast runner, slow runner? Do I got time? What's the situation? Like, all that stuff goes through my head right before the bat starts, and I've always had a same little routine. Like you have a routine in the box, right? I have a routine where I hit my glove on the ground, boom, I'm ready. It's like a cue. Like, so I think it's huge for guys and kids that are growing up to not only have an approach when you're in the hitting in the box, but have approach when you're out in defense.
Dude, that's big. That's big. That's big. So like my thing in the outfield, right? Something that kind of hindered my ability to rise through the ranks, maybe get more opportunities, was like, dude, I was a space cadet. So if there's a man on second base in certain situations, I'm playing center field, there's a ground ball up the middle, I'm getting it, I'm coming up, and like I'm automatically firing it home, not looking at where where it's going. I don't necessarily know where I'm supposed to be throwing the ball. Like, dude, I'm just trying to, like, I see the runner, I'm going to try to get him out. Then a guy takes an extra bag, like not knowing the situations. It's like, dude, the game within the game. So like the defensive part, man, that what you said and what your old man said, like if you show up with the glove, like, and you don't, you have your pitcher's back, dude, it can kind of take you as far as possible, bro. I absolutely love that. I think the years that I figured it out the most with the glove and showed the glove are the years that I was able to kind of get the most opportunity, dude.
No doubt. No doubt.
That's big. That's big for, I'd say, players like us, like players that aren't 6'5", throw 100, right? Aren't first round dudes.
Yeah,
man.
but if a manager can trust you, like he can trust you with the glove, he can put you out there and not have to worry about you. That like, he's good. He feels good about that, Dude. You'd rather have that guy out there than the guy that's hitting, homer after homer, but he's allergic to leather,
Yes,
like,
he's allergic to leather. He's a liability out there, dude, right?
Yeah.
For sure, man. It's dude, if you are a late inning guy or coming off the bench or you are like backing somebody up, right? Dude, you're not supposed to get a hit.
Yeah.
Right? You're not supposed to get a hit, dude. You're not supposed to come off the bench cold in the fucking 6th or 7th for those last couple innings of defense or something like that, and hit that guy throwing 102.
Yeah.
Right? The bullpen guy, right? Dude, that's big. So being able to show up with the glove, dude, could maximize your opportunities. That's awesome. Defense wise, right? So you're a middle infielder, bro. You have to, like you talked about, field the ball with your feet, right? Playing second, playing short, man. With these rule changes, maybe the shifts getting taken out, all this stuff, dude. Have any of these changes really affected the way that you've gone about your game, the way you've prepared, the way that you've played, like offensive or defensive, dude? Have any of these rule changes like messed with you? I know for me, man, the shot clock was kind of implemented like when I was transitioning out of baseball.
Mhm.
Like that was tough for me to buy into. Now it's even crazier.
Yeah. So, the shift was like so new to me, like in pro ball. And Seattle is like big. They use it all the time. I feel like that was the biggest adjustment for me to learn using the shift. Now that the shift's off, like, it's whatever. I really don't pay too much attention to it now, but I think defensively is just kind of how to learn and know your surroundings, where your teammates are, and stuff like that. The new bases, I feel like, it's kind of just helped us like not get slid into. So
For sure.
um, I think those are fine or whatever. But the shot clock is it's different. It's you have the routine, looking at the bat. Everybody knows about Longoria's mental cues and how he looks at the foul pole and then gets back in the box. And it's definitely been an adjustment because you have nobody on. You have pretty much 5 seconds. As soon as the pitcher gets the ball back, you got to be in that box with 5 seconds left, and or 5 seconds in, and the pitcher has to get rid of it in like 9 seconds or whatever. So I think finding that mental cues and your plan, your approach, and your deep breath, whatever you do right before you get in the box, was a little bit of adjustment for me because I would take my time. I was a guy that was like big deep breath, look at the label at the bat, you know, kind of talk to myself. All right, what's my plan here against this guy, and then go in. Now it's like you almost can't really think. It's just like say one or two cues, hit home plate, get ready to hit. So, but it hasn't been too crazy. I think it's sometimes when you don't think, you do your best. You're not thinking about a million things and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I would say the shot clock probably the biggest adjustment.
For sure, dude. Man, I've seen, I've heard like all these big signings, right? Whether you've played for the Mariners, you've played for the Giants, right? You're currently with the Giants. Man, all these signings happening, with the Dodgers. All these big names being on the West Coast, dude, right? The Angels,
Mhm.
huge names. Like, what is it like being around those dudes? What is it like being on the field with those big dudes? Like, is the media attention crazy? Like, you are in a star-studded division, being in AZ for the spring training, being on the West Coast for baseball. Like, what is it like being around dudes like that?
It's you just you kind of like just learn from them. I feel like for the younger age and college, and you're looking to play professional baseball, never stop learning and like watching the game. And so playing against Mike Trout, I feel like I was starstruck like my first time. Of course, like that was you're trying not to be. You're trying to be like one of the guys and stuff like that. But you watch these guys on TV your entire career. Robinson Cano, like he was with Seattle once I got drafted. I watched that guy's YouTube swing 1,000 times. Like
Yeah.
I try to emulate my swing towards Robinson Cano. So after that first spring training, and then playing in those spring training games, big league games, after like a couple, I feel like you get your feet wet. You're kind of settled in. I remember in 21, which one of my best seasons, I was playing a lot up in the big leagues, and I was playing left field. I never played left field in my life, like until that season, you know. And I remember standing out there, and we're playing Mike Trout, we're playing Otani, and like this is the third game, 4-game series, and it's sold out, or not sold out, but it's packed crowd in Anaheim, and I felt comfortable, for the first time, and it was a good feeling, But anything else, the more opportunity and the more you're in it, I think the more you get used to it. So, but the biggest thing I try to do is when I'm facing those or playing against those guys, like it's not a bad thing to watch especially if you're not playing, like watch how they go about things, you know watch their at bats, like tune into their at bats, like see what they're doing, see what they're doing in between pitches, like I feel like that's huge in what I've tried to do each time I'm playing against those guys.
Oh, I love it, dude. So I just got a couple more just questions, man, for you, just to pick your brain. We do have a question in the chat here. What's your favorite place that you've played so far, either city or stadium?
Man, I do love Seattle. I feel like Seattle's got an awesome stadium, but place to go to is San Diego. Like
Yeah.
I feel like once in 21, once we went over there and they were just getting hot. Like they got Tatis, they got Machado, they got all these guys, and like it was the middle of the season, and it's rocking in San Diego. Night games, like it was one of the coolest atmospheres I've played in for sure. Um,
It's amazing.
San Francisco is awesome. Of course, the stadium and um, that LA, Dodgers Giants series, that's special. Like, of course, you watch on TV growing up and stuff like that, but being a part of it,
Oh,
um, you know, that was one of the coolest games I've been a part of.
I love it, dude. That's awesome. It's amazing. I've seen games in those ballparks, right? I was never fortunate enough to play there, dude. I see games played on TV. I've seen some games, played there. It's amazing. Two more questions, dude, for you. So you alluded to like paying attention, watching the players that you look up to, trying to emulate them, trying to learn things from them, dude. So when a player wants to play in the big leagues, when a college player wants to get drafted, when a player in the minor leagues is scratching and clawing to get into the show, dude, a million thoughts are racing through the mind. It can
Mhm.
seem out of reach. Amongst all the obstacles and throughout the journey, dude. This is the Nine Hole Podcast. It's for players that really aren't pushed, right, and just spoon
Mhm.
fed all the way, right. Man, what kind of advice would you give the next generation of baseball players, dude? Aside from like paying attention, watching the game, right, learning from the people that have done
Mhm.
it before you, like what kind of things would you say to those guys?
Man, I'd say be a sponge. Pick any guy's brain that you think is going to help you. Of course, surround yourself with guys that have maybe the same goals and same outlook and what you want to become as a baseball player. Um, for guys like us and the nine hole who started in the nine hole don't have all the talent in the world. Coaches and managers look for a guy that can be a tough out. So when I mean tough out, guy that can work the count, has skills with the bat, maybe bunt a guy over, move a runner over, playing the game, takes his walks. Like I don't think there's a better feeling when a manager or a guy on the other team is like, man, you're tough out, man. Like facing you, you wear me out. Like 8 pitch, 10 pitch at bat, like that goes a long way. And like I said, always bring the glove. Um, we went on that, but with all these hitting gurus and hitting videos, and there's not a lot of knowledge out there, like a lot. But the thing that I always look at, in BP and in the cage work is let the ball be your feedback, no matter what. Like let the ball be your feedback. For me, I want to be chalk to chalk. Like I want to hit a hard ground ball right at third base, and then I want to work slightly up as I move to the pull side. I want hard line drives the other way and nice fly to balls on pull side. And you know, if you're able to do that and groove that, you're in a good spot. You can go in the game confidently and put a good at bat together. So I feel like those things um, are huge. Um, but yeah, man, like if you're a guy that's like when I was in the minor leagues, I got drafted. I was hitting in college. I was hitting 1, 2, or 3, and then when I got to pro ball, I was hitting 7, 7, 8, 9. And it was weird for me. It was like the first time I'm bottom of the lineup, 7, 8, 9, all that stuff. And um, but no matter what, I thought about being a tough out, you know, bringing the glove every day, and Mitch Canham saw I was working towards that, and he believed in me, and started having success. And then I was able to move up and hitting the 1 hole, hitting the 2 hole. So, just because you're hitting there not like now or 7, 8, 9, like in high school or in college, I mean, it doesn't mean that you can be up there. Doesn't mean that you can't be a 1 or 2 hole guy or 3 or 4 hole guy. Um, it's just, for me, that was just part of my process, or my
Journey.
Yeah, my journey through the whole thing.
100%.
So,
I
yeah.
love it, dude. I was gonna end with characteristics in your mind of a 9-hole hitter. Like, what's that mean to you? But dude, you just hit on it. You said
Yeah.
it. Tough out, like being able to do anything, work a count, man, being selfless, right? Moving runners over, dude. I
Being
absolutely love it.
Yeah, being gritty. The guy that's hitting the 9 hole, he can be accountable. That's what I think. Guy in the 9 hole, he's accountable for the team, and he can get the line moving at any point of the game. So,
Love it. I love that, Donnie. Thank you, dude. Thank you for your time. Before we get out of here, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's stream. Woo! The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, the Cleveland Student Visionaries of the Year, philanthropic leadership development program for exemplary high school students. That's crazy. Highly motivated leaders embark on a journey of professional growth, fostering professional skills such as entrepreneurship, marketing, and project management, all while working to raise as much as possible for the LLS. So this is their 7-week challenge to raise funds for the fight against blood cancer. The link is going to be in the description. Thank you guys for watching this. Thank you for being a part of it. Donnie, dude, thank you for your time today, man. Looking forward to seeing you just piece together another good year, man, on your way just to having a fantastic career. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you for being here today.
absolutely. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yes, sir. We'll catch you guys next time here. Take care.